The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today. First and foremost, I want to tell you guys how angry I am at myself for never hearing you guys before until recently. So, because you guys have been around for a minute now, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
how did it all get started? How did you guys all meet and everything?
So an old buddy of mine from college back in, like, I think it was like 2010. You know, I used to play music back in school, but I was a young parent, so I put all that down. Asked me to join his band that he wanted to start playing again here in New York. And I was like, great, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And this is sort of like the proto Scarboro. We had JT Turret on drums back in those days, who's from Arrogant Sons of Bitches. And yeah, like, I don't know, over the years, then, like, there was kind of lineup changes and the sound changed a bit. And so, like, around 2012 is kind of when, like, Scarboro was actually born. And then when we were recording, I think it was our first EP or second EP. Either way, Jack was an intern at the studio that we were working on, and then right after that was done, like, our bassist left and Jack stepped in, and so 2014 is kind of where I marked the birth of, like, Scarboro, just because that's kind of like once we kind of were set in sound and direction. But yeah, that's sort of how it all began.
That's awesome. So I listened to Hate Season. I really liked it. And then today I kind of went backwards, right? And I like when I do that because I can hear, like, how an album, like the newest album is going to sound, and then I start listening to, like, the older stuff, and, like, you guys have this awesome progression of your sound from like the you had some demos that you started with, right? And, like, and then just the sound, like, kind of evoluates, the evolution of your sound kind of happens, and, like, we get to Hate Season, and you guys, I mean, it's got a lot of different sounds going on with it. Like, I can hear, like, some kind of, I mean, some of it's like almost like metally licks that you got going on, and, like, so, like what was the reasoning? Like did you guys, did you kind of, like, have you noticed that evolution in your sound at all, or yeah?
Scarboro has always kind of blurred the lines of, like, not fitting into any particular box of punk rock, and I think we love that, and we try to add fuel to that fire, because I mean, our personal tastes are such a wide swath of, it's nothing too specific, so why limit ourselves?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I definitely hear it. It's not lost on me that, like, we have, like, orchestration on some of these songs, but that's also not anything new to us. We were playing around with stuff like that on Here Comes the Hangover as well. So, it's like, we're kind of, we're not doing anything totally different than what we've always been doing. But I just think, I mean, how would I describe it? I guess we're definitely, like, I can hear, like, not the improvement, but
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I hope you didn't think I meant that, but like, no, it's like,
that's how I think about it.
oh, okay, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just the evolution of like, I feel like sometimes like, and I'm always I'm always talking about it on this podcast. A lot of the bands actually. So here's the thing with the podcast, like, I book bands that I like, right? That I've listened to and I like. So this is how I do it, and um, like there is a common theme with a lot of the bands that I like, that their sound is like like a hodgepodge of different stuff that they're pulling in, and like, because like my musical palette, like what I like to listen to spans from, like, I don't know, like death metal all the way to like 80s freestyle, like synthy stuff.
Hell yeah.
I mean? So I'm like all over the map,
I mean, dude, I was listening to Kraftwerk before we got on this podcast. So, we get pretty out there sometimes.
Hell yeah. So and I think that keeps things fresh for me.
Yeah.
My ADHD brain, you know what I mean? Like I'll listen to an album and like I could listen to, I don't know, we'll say like a Metallica album or something, and like every song, like, yeah, and it's just kind of like background noise. I like it, but it's background noise, right? But like when I hear an album that it goes from track to track and it sounds different, like, or they're trying something different with it, like I enjoy that more as a music consumer, I guess, you know what I mean? So I definitely like it. I definitely like what you guys are doing, and I will say, I have to shout this out too. Like I went like the Rubber Tracks demos, like,
Oh wow.
yeah, I was listening to that today, and like you guys sample The Warriors, which is like one of my favorite movies of all time. So, and I know like your logo's kind of got the Warrior font thing going on too. And I didn't even notice. I didn't pick up on that until I heard that song. What was it? Part of Society, I think, was the song that had that. Yeah.
Wow, man, that real throwback.
So yeah, so I was but like I was like, oh man, and then I happened to like, I'm just looking at it and I'm like, oh yeah, the font's kind of like that. I like that. Like I don't know, I like samples, man. A lot of bands don't do that anymore, and when I find them now, I'm like, yes, like, we need more. I think we need more samples sometimes.
We've definitely been we use a sample pad live now. We definitely have a couple samples that are on the album but also off the album that we've been doing.
Oh hell yeah, really? Shows and stuff? That's awesome.
And like the samples we use on this album are probably more subtle, or like not so, like it's not like a movie clip or anything, but we're not shying away from that at all either.
Yeah. Cool. So when did you guys, like, what's the writing process like for Scarboro? Are you guys, are you all in the room together, or like if someone brings something, or?
Yeah, I mean, like normally, like I'll sketch out, the rough skeleton of a song and kind of lyrics, and then bring it to the crew, and kind of work it out in the rehearsal space. But I think this one was a lot more collaborative. It's probably like the most collaborative thing we've ever done. Where we also weren't married to those skeletons in a way, and made a lot of room to make sure that everybody's sort of input and feedback came in to really shape the thing. So that was probably one of the most exciting parts about writing this record, was just really being able to make sure that everybody was represented in it and were able to throw in their ideas. And I think it definitely made it a stronger piece altogether.
Right on. Now tell me about, like, I've only had a few bands on from New York, like the New York City area, right? Like I've had bands on from Western New York and up 84 that way, like heading, and everything. But so like I've had a few from New York City, but like so being in New England, I talk to a lot of New England bands, right? I talk to a ton of New England bands, and I'm always like talking about like the music community here and how great it is. And when I talk to bands from other cities, I always like to ask this, like, so how is like the music community as a whole out there? Is everyone out, like, you guys out there supporting each other and everything? And you know what I mean? Like, do you run into the same people at shows and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, and Jack, let me know your perspective. But I mean, for me, I feel also that like post-pandemic things feel a little different in the city. Back when we started playing out here, it just felt like we did a lot more mixed bill stuff. And now I feel, and I think that part of this is also the way that like just kind of the algorithms and the sort of needing to niche has kind of influenced the real world, where everybody's just kind of gone into their own corners, but like, you end up bumping into to a bunch of the folks. Like, people are still out there supporting each other. It's just probably not. It doesn't seem as um, you know, communal maybe as it did pre-pandemic, but
Yeah.
It's just such a vast place with different generations happening all at the same time also. So it's like, we kind of have circles that we run in, obviously, that like, overlap from show to show. Like we're playing with Neck Scars a few times coming up. Like that's like a common overlap.
Mm-hmm.
We like basically overlap with people when it's like, oh, like a bigger band's coming through town, and like, there's like a few of us that get asked to open up and stuff. But aside from all that, there's like millions of other scenes going on the whole time that I might not even know about.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's always something new around the corner that's like, I don't know. I don't assume to have a handle on the scene. Or like have any general idea of like what's going on at any moment. Cause like there's been bands that like will get really popular and I'm like, they're from Brooklyn. Like, I don't even know who the hell they are. Like, what the fuck? Like how have we not played a show with them in the last 12 years?
Yeah.
That stuff happens all the time.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. There's a scene, but it's also just
a lot of scenes.
Yeah,
it's bigger than all of us,
Yeah, exactly. So I'm always saying like the like there's a we have like the New England kind of we have the Boston music community, but everyone kind of runs like together, right? Even like we got a lot of people out here that will run with like bands from like I said like New York and up like 84 that way, and so it's always like I always say like just as a whole across the country, like it's cool to meet new bands. And again, I'm somebody. I mean, I try to listen to something new like nowadays probably like once a week. I try to at least find a new band once a week. Like used to be every day, and then like and like sometimes work takes over and editing this podcast takes over, so like I don't dive in as much as I'd like to, but like it blows my mind when I find bands like Scarboro that I've never heard of, and I'm like, God damn it, like I get like angry at why haven't you, like, what the fuck, what have you been doing for the last 12 years or whatever, you know what I mean? Like
we'll take the blame for that. We
So I mean, do you guys play out like outside of New York? Do you guys tour and all that stuff too?
Yeah, we do a fair amount of regional shows for sure. I mean, nowhere specific, I guess, but like definitely in the tri-state area.
Yeah, cool.
We just got back from Cali last month.
We're overdue for like a Boston like Northeast run, hopefully we can get over that way soon. If you know anyone, let us know. We'll play Providence, we'll play Boston, we'll play wherever. Just,
for sure. Yeah, I like that. I'm always trying to get people to meet each other. If I mean, I don't know a ton of people. I know a little bit, but
we also just got done with the California run too, which is a first for Scarboro. So we're always trying to take it up a notch.
Hell yeah. How was the California run?
It was awesome. Awesome. We did 5 shows, LA up to San Francisco, up to San Jose, I guess was the end date. Nice. But all the shows had people at it, I had fun. California is beautiful. I don't really, nothing really to complain about it. It was a really good experience, I thought.
We got to do Gilman, which was like a sort of a bucket list venue for us, which was like a lot of fun.
Nice, that's awesome. Now, when you guys like, do you guys set goals for yourself each year for like a band? So I'm a goal oriented. I'm always like, I'm always thinking ahead, and I try to set myself some. It's not like, I think if I put a goal out there, then that means I have to go do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, do you guys do that? Like, and it doesn't have to be anything as like huge either, right? Like
it varies. It's like there's parts of like walking into a show, like I tell myself, don't set expectations, have no expectations about this show, and that goes really well. But then like as far as the whole year goes, it's like we'll definitely like set like a list of goals, and often it's like we'll choose like a date off in the distance. We're like, we want all these 3 things to line up on this date, and then it becomes like a madhouse run just to get them all to like line up, and then they don't line up, and then it's just like we set goals, but those goals don't always
pan out.
pan out.
Yeah, mankind, God laughs, as they say.
They're gonna get done, goddamn it! But like, it's gonna take it's gonna,
Yeah,
we're gonna take some hits on the chin.
It's cool. It's cool to readjust. Yeah, sometimes because I think having goals is like it's a healthy thing to do, and and I get too down on myself if I don't get one done, but then I'm just like I have to regroup, and I'm like, well, just a little bit further. We'll get there. We'll get there when we get there.
Try to be realistic too in our goals.
Yeah, I have stupid for myself expectations that I'm like, you're never like, what the fuck, Trev? You know what I mean? Like that voice in my head is like, you fucking nincompoop. Like, what are you doing right now? So, but I try, and I got this little podcast that we do, and that helps out quite a bit. And it's but I give myself too much work too, so I've been trying to take it easy on myself. I'm getting older, you know what I mean? Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
Now and fucking, it's like crazy. So, a blink of an eye, it's all disappeared or whatever, So, but yeah, so that's awesome. And I want to know, like, you guys have a very, like, how do I put this? Like, you guys are so, like, I always talk. There's bands that are aggressive, and then there's bands that are angry, and then there's bands that are both, right? You can be aggressive and not angry, just like you can be angry and not aggressive. And I feel like you guys capture both. And like I'm a very angry human being. So like, and that's what drives me to do all the things that I do, right? So, you guys have that. You guys have both of that in your sound, and I mean, in vocal delivery to just how you guys play your instruments, and I think I found myself, especially like going back, like I'm just like kind of like just like fuck yeah, I get it, you know what I mean? Like listening to the new record, and I'm like fuck yeah, and then like I remember I was so Pete sent me the link, right, and I was literally like texting him because I was like, yeah, I'll give this a listen and I'll let you know, and like by the second song, I'm texting him. I'm like, dude, this is fucking, this is insane. Like I am, I feel it. Like I feel the anger and the aggressiveness that you guys are putting out there. And like, I'm sure that's the vibe you're trying to do too, right? Like, so how do you guys balance that with like, is it just like you use the creative outlet to let all that out? Or are you guys walking around angry like me all the time?
I walk around miserable.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Like the one thing I'll say about Scarboro is that we're not selling you a performance, right? Like you can read the lyrics, you can hear the music. What you're getting is authentic as fuck, and like that's the life, like that's and that's why it's such a great outlet, because like you have to put the misery and you have to put the anger and the pain somewhere, and so that's how you end up with something like Casey's.
I'll be like driving to practice and I'm just like, I don't want to do this today. This is the last thing I want to be doing. Why am I driving all the way to fucking Astoria, Queens to play fucking music? Oh my God. And then we play practice. I'm like, oh my God, I needed that so bad.
Yeah.
I needed that like nothing else, dude. It's like actually super therapeutic. I have to, I don't know.
I used to play football. I played semi-pro football for a while, and like, I would do that before every game, and like to the point where people were like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? You know what I mean? Like I'm like, you're fucking old, like you're slow, you're not strong, you know what I mean? And then I'd have a good game, and then I'm like, I guess I just needed that. Like I needed to get that out,
It's a very weird thing to like, I don't know, explain to people.
Yeah, no, I get it, dude. I do it. I remember one of the guys on my team was like a guy I played with years ago, and he'd be like, nah, leave him alone, he's fine. Like, because people are like, are you all right? So, but yeah, no, it's good. It's good. And I think too, like when you play, I mean, I'm assuming if you guys like live, if I feel this aggressiveness and this anger like through the album, you guys live must be phenomenal. And like, there's something about when like someone can go to a show and just like they get it out too just by listening to what you're putting out there, and like it must like it. I'm sure like afterwards it's just like everyone's like happy now, right? Like you just like they got it out, whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? So
I don't know if happy is the word, but it feels like we left something out there on the stage for sure.
Yeah,
usually around like a pound of sweat.
Right on. So tell me like we could talk about Hate Season quite like a bit, right? So tell me, like, when were you guys writing this album? When did this idea for this album come about? Were some of these songs things that have been kicking around for a while, that kind of thing?
So we took a little bit of a hiatus, starting in 2020. Like I ran for Congress, and it was supposed to only just be a couple of months, and then back at it. But then I ended up, just kind of stuck in that work for a few years, and then we came out of hiatus in 2023. That's when Rodica joined the band. We put out two singles then, and then immediately after that, I started sort of knocking out the songs for this record, just kind of covering that period of time and sort of the trying to get back on the horse sort of period. So yeah, we started the whole process started about 2 years ago, and
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
You asked how long we'd kick some of these ideas around, and I was just gonna say that the song "Got Soul," I was writing that bass riff 11 years ago.
Wow.
So I've had that bass riff in my head for 11 years, and they finally pushed me to finish it for this album. So it's like,
how'd that feel to finish it?
It was big. It was monumental for me personally, I got to admit.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy. Like I have to acknowledge how long I had that riff just sitting around forever.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah, for sure, and it's it must feel like a big accomplishment for you, like, because I write. I'm not a musician. I can't sing. I can't dance. I can't play an instrument, but I write, and like I'll have projects that are kicking around way too long. And
I have a real tough issue finishing things.
yeah, I get in my own head about it. You know what I mean, and all that stuff. So like I understand, like getting something out there finally, like something that's been kicking for so long. That's a great feeling. I feel,
Totally.
So now you said you were working in Congress for a while.
Well, I started my political career working in Congress, but I ran for Congress in 2020. And yeah, but I left the political world behind in 2023. Just like, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but like when you're on the inside, let's just say that nothing that's happening right now is a surprise to me, and it was a conscious decision to do Scarboro full time to sort of do what we can and enjoy this while there is time to enjoy it, because I don't foresee a very long opportunity to be able to do certain things. Like, I mean, and without going too deep into it, but like, the current situation right now is already kind of limiting the things that we can and can't do and where we can and can't go. Which is, we do it intentionally, but it's also like, that's part of the reality. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. It sucks. It sucks because, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We could go 2 hours on this, right?
Yeah. So, once you open that can of worms.
Yeah, I'd rather be here laughing and smiling about angry music that makes me feel good, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I guess I can see where some of these songs came from, maybe, right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, how do you guys balance like just this everyday life and being in a band that tours and everything?
I don't know if we do.
I don't know, man. It's like I don't know. It's
it's a challenge.
I just feel like I'm working my ass off in all aspects of life, whether it's being in this band, whether it's going to my actual like day job that pays my rent, I just feel like I'm always just kind of like putting myself into everything. So balance, I don't know, but there's just no other option other than to just kind of like do everything to the best of my ability and give myself in every way that I can, which isn't always easy. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Now, the record, did I see the record's coming out on is the two labels are kind of putting it out there for you, right? I see.
Yeah, so the Heart and WTF Records.
All right,
based in Rotterdam.
Based where?
In Rotterdam, so they're handling the EU side of things, and
gotcha.
Heart's doing US.
Nice. Andy's a great guy. He's been on the podcast before.
Oh, so. Andy's my daddy. I love him.
Nice. Yeah. So that's cool. How did you guys link up with Andy? Just from
my other band, Fat Heaven, we put out an album through Sell the Heart Records.
Yeah.
So I kind of built a relationship with him through that experience. And whenever we were putting this record together, it just made complete sense to float it his way to see if he'd be interested. And luckily he was.
Oh yeah.
He's awesome, and he does it right, and he puts the kind of care that you would want somebody to put into a project. Yeah, I mean, it was a no-brainer for us. We really wanted him to put it out, so we reached out and he was down.
Nice. So the record comes out officially what, the 17th, right? It drops?
Yep, April 17th.
Of April, yeah, cool. Are you guys doing like a record release show or anything?
We are doing a record release show on May 1st at Main Drag Music in Brooklyn, New York. We're playing with Neck Scars, Dear Future Archaeologists, this band called Extreme Sports. That's really awesome. And Travi Lee from my band Fat Heaven is going to do an acoustic set to open the show.
Nice.
But yeah, that's on May 1st.
May 1st? Cool. All right. I'll make sure I get that in the notes, in the notes for it.
There's a flyer floating around somewhere.
Yeah. So, all right. So you guys have 3 singles out as of right now, right? So yes. I had the whole record. Like I said, he sent me the link to listen to it all. So what are the 3 singles that are out?
Sin Futuro was first, followed by Save Yourself, and we just released Kinsuki 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. Can we talk about those? Yeah.
Kind of you talk about anything you want to talk about. We're an open book, man.
All right, cool. Yeah, let's dive into those. Let's dive into those 3 songs. So, yeah, I'm not gonna butcher the names of them. So I'm gonna let you take the floor on them. You know what I mean? So like kind of talk about these songs a little bit, and like where it all came from, and the work you guys were doing with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Sin Futuro was the first one up. I wrote that one in the spring last year. We were talking about all the political stuff, but that's kind of what, we're not an overtly political band. And this was a conscious decision to do this song because I think we're at a point in time where, we're trying to sound the alarm that, like, look, if even we're talking about this, like, you should be paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was born out of, I was in Puerto Rico last year for my great aunt's funeral. And that was just like about the time that Bad Bunny record had come out. And I had never really listened to him before. But, I started paying attention to it because you couldn't escape it on the island. And, it was dedicated to the diaspora. And, I didn't realize how much of a political record that was. And then, being half Filipino, half Puerto Rican, realizing they, coming from 2 cultures that had been colonized by the Spanish and now living in America under this situation, it just kind of all came together. And so, once we were in the studio, that's how come you're hearing some of those hand drums and a lot of the sort of more Caribbean style percussion on that song. And it's also the first one we've ever done that's bilingual. So it's, really about viewing the current situation through that lens of sort of a historical, cultural, colonized viewpoint, and, urging people to really pay attention and sort of take action to handle what's going on, or else we will not have a future.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I will say, I feel like I don't take this, I don't think it's being political at this point, right? Like we're in it's about we're talking it's about just being a fucking human being, and then people not treating human beings that way, and I can't stand it, and every time I try, I'll just people that are like, oh, everything's got to be something. Like, it's not about being political, dude. It's about not being a piece of shit,
Yeah, and to get on my soapbox for 1 second, this idea that things are or are not political, right? It's just a convenient sort of idea that's been pushed on the population to get you to not pay attention, right? Because you get people that have a point of pride of well, I don't do politics, and it's well, politics gets done to you. You're either at the table or you're on the menu. And I think that we're at a time where I think people really need to kind of figure out that there's no such thing as not being political, right? Do or don't.
Yeah, yeah. I think for a long time I was just I don't know much about politics, and I just know that I'm not I know just treat people kind and whatever. But then now I'm older, and I'm man, that's great for me to think that way, but that's not how the world thinks at all. You know what I mean? So it's so
Absolutely.
like I had like this like awake. I was down. I went down south for like a year and a half as a consultant, opening up a bar and restaurant. And like when I was down there, like I really like I'm like this is awful. And this was like 2019, I was down there.
Yeah.
I'm like, this shit is fucking bad out there, and like people are so blind to it, like they just follow like whatever they're told, and I'm like, oh man, like I don't know,
We're in trouble.
Yeah, and then it's just gotten worse. Like that's just like it just blows my mind, and like so I mean, it's
only gonna get worse.
Yeah, and I have this like thing about like I said, like I don't know a lot about politics, right? But I know how to be a decent human being, so I kind of put that forward and like kind of, you know what I mean? Because like sometimes I'm like I don't know if I like should even be talking about a topic because like I'm not, you know what I mean? But then I'm like, like all right, politics and like human decency, which one? And I'm like, well, I'm good with human decency, so we're gonna go with that, and like. So
you can't go wrong leading with empathy and compassion.
Yeah, you just can't, and like it's just you can't at this point. Like I don't know, people are just if they're turning a blind eye or whatever. Like maybe they're just dissociating and they don't know what to do. Maybe I don't know, but like how do you not say something now? You know what I mean? Like it sucks that I mean, it's good that people are finally seeing things. But like it sucks that it took this for people to say stuff. You know what I mean? So,
and even then, you still have a lot of people that are kind of tapped out. And like I said, conditions are only going to get worse. You had that media merger where now you just have a media monopoly that controls essentially what you can or can't see. Even what's going on in the war right now, if you go look at the international news, you're like, oh, I didn't realize that like this is what's actually happening. So. It's it's convenient, and I don't let folks off the hook these days because like it is infuriating, because it's a choice at this point, and it's kind of easy to look the other way because we've been so accustomed and so sort of privileged to be able to do that in this country, and then finally like I don't think people realize the threat that they are individually under. It's always easy when it's happening to somebody else, and you're like, oh well, and you have all those like sort of nuanced little conversations about it, but it's like, hey, no, look, we're all on the line here. If you haven't figured it out, like. Now's the time to do it.
yeah. So all right, so let's go to the next single. I'm gonna try it. I'm sorry if I butcher. Is it Kintsugi?
Kintsugi, yeah.
Kintsugi, yeah. So let's talk about that one too.
Yeah, so that one is really about the things that we kind of fuck up in relationships and have to put back together. I've been married for I always get this wrong, so I'm gonna get in trouble. But like. Well, it's also because like we've been together for like 22 years. But like I've been married almost 20 years now, and you inevitably break things along the way. But it's like the Japanese art of filling broken pottery with gold filling, and it highlights sort of those breakages, and you end up with a sort of stronger and more beautiful sort of thing afterwards. And so Kintsugi just is a little on the nose, but that's what that one's about.
Right on. And then Save Yourself was the last one that dropped, right?
Yeah, Save Yourself. And then we can also talk about Got Soul because that was about to come out.
Okay, cool,
but Save Yourself. I've made no secret in any of these songs, that I've struggled with mental health stuff in the past. And, it kind of it's laid that out in these songs. But Save Yourself is about having passed that gene along to my middle kid and the struggles that she had, and sort of feeling like you're not there as a parent because you're going through your own thing. And so in some ways it's an apology of sorts, and sort of recognizing that like, hey, you have the strength to get through this on your own, and it explores sort of that sort of parent-child relationship when you're both sort of struggling with some really heavy mental health stuff. Really cheerful things.
It's important, man. It's really, and that's the one thing I'll say, like, when I have these conversations with people on the podcast and we talk, like, I'm a big, like, I was somebody who, until I was 35, like, I was just told, like, don't express your emotions unless it's anger and all this stuff. So, like, and then I started therapy, And I had 10 years of therapy. Like, I'm like, you know, with this podcast, like I have like, sometimes I'll do these solo episodes for like bonuses where I talk about, you know, the stuff that I deal with, and
Yeah.
like, and people will come on and we'll talk about stuff. And like, I think especially the people who listen to the podcast are huge music lovers like I am, right? So when they hear a band that's talking about things that they can relate to on that level, I think that just makes it so much better. You know what I mean? But I'll never push it. Like if people want to talk, they talk, and like, you know, kind of like you just told us about this song, right? So I think it's a great thing, and I think it's important to talk about. And like, you know, going back to what I was saying about like how I write real bleak shit. So it's like, but like it's relatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I think just like, I think one of the things I love about punk rock so much is when I was younger, when I got into it, like I didn't feel as alone anymore, because some of the, like, there was a lot of mental health talk, and there was a lot of like love loss, and like, you know what I mean, like shit that I dealt with, and like that I thought no one else could feel but me, you know, because I thought there was something wrong with me, right? But like in reality, like that's what life is, and being able to talk about it or and put it into your art, I think, is a huge plus. So, you know, so kudos to you, man. Seriously, like, especially like you know, like with that song and what you were saying, like it's kind of like a, you know, like a what it's about for you personally. Like I that, you know, that's hard to put out there, right? So my hat's off to you for doing that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course. And you said what was the one that was dropping soon?
It's called Got Soul. That's my song.
This is the bass riff song, right?
It's you know, it took a while to get that song finished, and I'm glad we did it, because it was kind of like, it coincided with this moment in my life where it's like the song's about kind of going through self-loss, where you're being swallowed up into this like toxic, you know, situation in your life, and like you're overcoming different things like grief, along with other things that kind of amalgamate into this like big pressure pot that cause you to kind of like disconnect from yourself. And then you kind of just have like a crossroads where you have to decide, like, you know, I got to get over this, you know, and just overall like a journey back to yourself, and like kind of realizing that you do have a soul and you're not just like some scooped out shell of a human. That's kind of what that song's about, to say the least.
Another relatable thing, you know what I mean? So that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
But it's also the album ender, and it's like, I think it's like the perfect capstone. So, you know, I'm so stoked that Jack's able to get it done. You know, because like I think the record would feel sort of like, you know, the story of that record almost feels like it would feel a little bit unfinished without it, and you know, it kind of completes the journey and the story told through it. You know, if you sit there and listen to it back to front, and like, you know, there's a there, you know, and Got Soul's just like, I don't know. I'm a huge fan of it. I personally, not to blow smoke up Jack's ass, think it's the best song on the record, but it's so different than anything we've ever done.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I so being a storyteller, like I love being able to listen to a full album and get this like, this thing from like opening to end, and then having closure with that at the end. It's cool. It's I mean, that's why I you know, I think one of the reasons I love music so much is that I can't do it, right? And for me, it's still magical like that, right? It's magic that like it's storytelling, which I absolutely love, but it's in a way, it's in a art form that I have no idea how to do it. I've tried, I can't.
There's times where I'm envious of that position.
Yeah, yeah, and like it's cool too, because like I just like sometimes you can take a song, right, and then you can get like this huge story out of that one song, and then you put it in with a bunch of other songs, and it's like, you see the story, like the whole story, you know what I mean? The whole, like a roller coaster.
I didn't even know what I was trying to write with that song, you know. It just what was happening is what came out, and like I think that's the best kind of writing. Like maybe because that's what I do the most. Like I just kind of write, and when then once I get the first iteration done, I'm like, all right. I get very worried about being contrived, and it's just kind of like, you know, sometimes that insecurity just kind of melts away, and that's when you know you're kind of in a good place. You know,
yeah, for sure.
If I'm not feeling that way for once, maybe I should follow this.
So Jack, you're in multiple bands. Sure. Is this the only project that you have going on right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Jack, does both like so Fat Heaven, I'm familiar with the band. Very good, by the way. But do you like, does each band do different things for you, like internally?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not, the things that I get from the energy of Scarborough are not the same things that I get. They scratch different itches for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Like Fat Heaven doesn't veer into hardcore quite like Scarborough does. But that being said, Scarborough does some very similar things that Fat Heaven does, like in the pop realm. So it's like, there is kind of a blurred line between the two. But yeah, I mean, it's just two different experiences. Scarborough's a workout, I would say.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's like doing burpees.
Right on.
Like I feel like when I'm playing in Scarborough, I feel like I'm really like pushing myself and like challenging myself to like really push the limit. Whereas like with Fat Heaven, it's just kind of like it's not that I'm not pushing myself, but it's just a little bit more of like I don't know. That one feels more like riding a bike sometimes.
Yeah.
Whereas like Scarborough is kind of like, okay, let's
Yeah.
buckle up for whatever the fuck Sure just brought into this room.
Oh
You know, Fat Heaven like follows very strict formulas, whereas like Scarborough is like, we have a song called Benzos and Coke where I would be hard pressed to put a formula on that.
Yeah.
Like as far as like songwriting formula goes, I'm like, it doesn't really follow any one path at all. Like anything, it's almost like avant-garde to me.
Yeah.
So it's just two different experiences.
Yeah, I'm sure, and they do different things for you. And like,
Absolutely.
I feel like it's like from what you just said, maybe like, and maybe I'm wrong. Like you said, this one's like a workout, right? Like it's and then the other one's more fluid, like a fluid or more fluid kind of.
Yeah, Scarborough's
like you said, like riding a bike, right? Like that's like second nature, right? Like kind of. So they both have great qualities, right? And then it's. Do you need that? Like, do you need these different things, or like, could you be in the same sounding kind of like? Probably not, because we talked about that in the beginning, right? Like, you like the different sounds that everything pulls in. So
yeah, it's like, I think I do need it, because it's like, both those things are great, but then there's still moments where I'm like alone by myself, and then I pick up the acoustic and I'm playing like Elliott Smith stuff, So it's like but all of these things scratch certain itches about music that are like different corners of music that are very important to me. Like I love like West Coast like skate punk, like pop punk stuff. I love like heavy hardcore like ruckus like stuff, but I also like more like softer like singer songwriter like intimate performances as well. So it's like I don't know if I answered the question, but
no, you're good. You're good. And short for taking a hiatus from and then coming back to music like you have, like what like were you missing it the whole time? Was it something, you know what I mean? Like can you kind of speak on that?
Yeah, I mean, to get real, like I really missed it because, especially in the work that I was doing, like I expected to see a lot more of, the folks that I had crossed paths doing music that are so overtly political and have really powerful stances, but then in the rooms where they needed to be, never showed up. And so, once it was clear to me that there was, that what's here is here now, like, I really wanted to just go back to doing this. And, Benzos and Coke touches on this because, like, I had a shitty psychiatrist that put me on fucking benzos for 2 years, which, you know, you never think that, taking like a small dose daily is a problem until, you realize you were never told that after 2 weeks, now you have a problem.
Yeah.
And, that prevented me from writing. I didn't know that, I was just like, every time I picked up the guitar, it'd be, the same 2 or 3 chords and like songs couldn't come together. I was really cut off from it. So like, you know, thankfully going through that sort of healing process, getting a good team that got me, all healed up, or as much as you can heal up after something like that. That's when Scarborough came back, and like the first two singles came back, but then like the floodgates really fucking opened up right after that. And like, the record was written, pretty much over the course of a year. I mean, probably a little bit less than that, but it was just like, oh shit, like I can write again, and like at the level that we were writing before, like we got to do something with this. It's kind of how it felt like.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, has it stopped? Are you still writing? Like, are you still writing? Like, is the floodgate?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been sparing Jack and Rodica the phone demos, but like I'm overfilling my phone with just bits and pieces here and there. I think hopefully for the next one we can all sit in the room together and construct them. Because there's like, I just found that part the most rewarding when we were in the studio this time, and I think that for the next one, especially given the fucking level of talent that these two bring, I think it'll be pretty rad.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm excited for the release of Hate Season, and I'm definitely gonna grab one of the records, because if you can see behind me, like I'm a vinyl head, so
Oh yeah.
sometimes I have too many vinyl, but like for the most part, like so. And I saw there was like a couple different. You guys have a couple different variants of it, I think, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Eco Cherry Red and Black. It's also on CD.
Yeah, those are that's I'm into it. I can't wait to hear it on. That's something like being of the age I'm at. I remember when I was a kid, we had some vinyl, and then it went away, and I went through the cassette phase to the CD phase to the So here we are back at it, and like so like I'm always like, yes, this is vinyl. I want to get it. I'm a big physical media guy. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Not to sound like an old fogey, but the whole digital thing, I think, is really fucking raining on the parade.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I stick to I stick to to the point where I have a friend who he just came on the podcast recently, but like he's been involved in like the music industry since he was a kid, and like working like A&R and shit, like for companies, and like him and I fight about Bandcamp, because I'm like, it's the best. Like for me, I will buy these albums, whether it's digital or physical media, and I know that that whoever's like the artist is going to get more profit than they're ever going to get from Spotify.
Yeah.
But then he's like nah, blah 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 algorithms, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like I was like, I don't care, but you could tell you're a company man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
We get under each other's skin about it quite a bit. So, but no, I think like I have had people on recently that were like, they think like there's like for physical media just in general, like there's like it's making the younger generations are kind of finding it now and like kind of wanting it again. So
yeah,
who knows?
It's pretty rad, because like all of my kids are all like they're all vinyl.
Yeah,
and like that was like that ain't something for me. Like they just are all like they want the records on vinyl. Like that's it, and like, they won't listen to it otherwise. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, and it's like having art, like just again, I hang them on the walls and shit. I have cassettes. I just have cassettes, like stacks of them just everywhere, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is this cassette here, and like and I just remember like the times of like the J card that looked like a CVS receipt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm a huge fan of physical media. So whenever I have a band on and they say they have, I want to make sure we promote it right. So people can. What is the best way people can buy a record? Is it through Bandcamp, or is there a website, or?
Yeah, so they can either go to the scarborough.bandcamp.com. Pre-orders are up there. Also, the Sell the Heart site has it up, as well. If somehow you're listening to this in Europe, the WTFrecords.eu has it up as well.
Nice. Now, where can people find you guys on social media? Where can they follow you and see what's going on? See the flyers for your shows digitally, I guess. So
yes, so we're mainly on Instagram. It's at Scarborough Punks with an X, and also TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. All of the ones that we try to stay active on to some degree. We're certainly not social media makers. I will tell you that.
Yeah. I know I wouldn't be on it at all if it wasn't for this podcast. So now I have an obligation. I have an obligation to you to put it out there, right? So I'm always trying to figure out how to. I was looking for like something that would just put it all everywhere for me, but I can't find anything like that. Yeah. So I just have to, before work every morning, I'm like, my phone or whatever. So. But cool. And do you guys have a website, or is it just the social media?
Yeah, it's Scarboro.online, and that'll have all the links too for the pre-order. So that's probably the easiest way to portal your way too.
Cool. Now, any other upcoming shows you guys want to plug before we get out of here, or?
May 15th, right?
14th.
Sorry, we are playing with Cop Out and the Middle Aged Queers at Woodshop.
Nice.
And then June 20th, we're with Next Cars again, opening up for Pulley at the Woodshop in Brooklyn.
Nice. Awesome.
A whole bunch of Woodshop coming up.
Well, listen, if you guys make it out to like Boston or an area out here, or if you're looking for someone to contact, I can try my best and I'll help you guys out, because I would love to see you guys live. So
we would love to.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I don't know. I think you guys should come back. If it doesn't have to be for another record, but it'd be awesome, if there was another record. But you can always come back and we can just talk about whatever you want, and like the doors are open.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I don't know. I think people are really gonna connect with Hate Season, and I can't wait for them to check it out. So
fingers crossed.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.